The Silent Purge. The archives on Centauri Prime were considered the most comprehensive collection of galactic history in existence. Spanning 3 kilometers beneath the planet's crystal spires, they contained records of every significant civilization, war, and technological advancement for the past 10,000 years. Every civilization except one. Commander Elena Reyes moved silently through the dimly lit corridors of the lower archive levels, her stealth suit absorbing ambient light. The 2 guards she'd incapacitated would remain unconscious for hours. She had that long to confirm what her intelligence network had spent decades trying to prove, that humanity's erasure from galactic memory had been deliberate. "I'm in section 117X, she whispered into her neural comm. "This is supposed to be where pre-purge records are stored." "Copy that, Commander," came the voice of her XO, Takashi Yamamoto. "The Hyperion remains in position behind Centauri's 4th moon. We'll extract you at 400 hours. Elena approached a sealed vault door. Ancient by galactic standards, it used a physical locking mechanism rather than the quantum encryption that protected more recent archives. She removed a small device from her belt and pressed it against the lock. Within seconds, the door slid open with a hiss. Inside, data crystals filled row after row of shelving. Each crystal contained enough information to fill 1,000,000 books. Elena activated her scanner, searching for anything related to Earth, Sol, Terra, or humanity. Nothing. "Damn it," she muttered. "Another dead end." As she turned to leave, her scanner pinged. A faint energy signature emanated from behind a wall panel. Elena moved closer, her heart racing. The panel appeared seamless, but her scanner detected a hidden mechanism. She pressed her palm against it, and the panel slid aside, revealing a small alcove containing a single data crystal. Unlike any she'd seen before, it pulsed with a soft blue light. "Commander," Takashi's voice crackled through the comm. "We're detecting Concordat ships entering the system. You need to move now." Elena grabbed the crystal and secured it in her suit. "I found something." Heading to extraction point. As she retraced her steps through the archives, alarms began to wail. The Galactic Concordat, the ruling body that had overseen humanity's systematic removal from history, knew someone had breached their most classified section. Elena reached the maintenance shaft she'd used to enter the archives just as the first security drones rounded the corner. She fired her pulse pistol, disabling 2 before diving into the shaft. The climb back to the surface was grueling, but adrenaline pushed her forward. On the surface of Centauri Prime, the night sky was filled with the lights of incoming Concordat vessels. Elena activated her emergency beacon and ran toward the extraction point, an abandoned landing pad on the outskirts of the archive complex. The Hyperion, a sleek stealth frigate and one of the last warships built by human hands, descended silently through the clouds. Its landing ramp extended before it even touched down. "Commander, hurry," Takashi shouted from the ramp. Elena sprinted the final distance as Concordat troops appeared behind her, energy weapons firing. She dove into the ship as Takashi laid down covering fire. The ramp closed, and the Hyperion shot upward, its experimental drive system leaving no energy signature for the Concordat to track. In the ship's command center, Elena handed the crystal to Dr. Layla Chen, their xenoarchaeologist and data specialist. "This was hidden in a secret compartment," Elena explained. "Can you access it?" Layla examined the crystal, her eyes widening. "This is old tech. Pre-purge for sure." She inserted it into a specially modified reader. "It might take some time to." The ship's holographic display suddenly flared to life, projecting an image of Earth and the Sol system. Then came thousands of images: human cities, space stations, colony worlds, historical records of humanity's expansion into space, diplomatic relations with alien species, technological advancements. "My God," Takashi whispered. "It's everything." Everything they erased. Elena stared at the data streaming before them. For 300 years, The Galactic Concordat had systematically removed all evidence of humanity from official records. New generations of alien species grew up never knowing humans had existed. Those who remembered were silenced or discredited. "There's more," Layla said, her voice trembling. "Coordinates. Hundreds of them." "To what?" Elena asked. "Hidden human outposts. Military bases. Research stations." Layla looked up, her eyes filled with hope. "Commander, according to this, we weren't completely wiped out. There are survivors, more than we thought. And they've been building." The Hyperion jumped to hyperspace, leaving Centauri Prime behind. Elena studied the coordinates. One set in particular caught her attention, a location in the outer rim, far beyond Concordat territory. "Set course for these coordinates," she ordered. "That's a 3-week journey," Takashi pointed out. "The Concordat will be hunting us." "Then we'd better not get caught," Elena replied grimly. 3 weeks later, the Hyperion dropped out of hyperspace in an unmarked system. Before them floated what appeared to be an abandoned mining station orbiting a dead moon. "Are you sure this is right?" Takashi asked skeptically. "These are the coordinates," Layla confirmed. Elena narrowed her eyes. "Scan for energy signatures." "Nothing. It's completely." "Wait." Takashi adjusted the sensors. "There's something. It's shielded, but there's definitely power down there." Elena opened a comm channel. "This is Commander Elena Reyes of the human resistance vessel Hyperion. We've come seeking sanctuary." Silence. Then a response. "Transmit authentication code." "We don't have one," Elena replied. "But we have the Centauri archive crystal." Another pause. Then the seemingly derelict station began to transform. Massive sections of the moon's surface retracted, revealing an enormous hangar bay. Inside, illuminated by the sudden light, stood row upon row of warships, hundreds of them. A vast armada hidden from the galaxy's eyes. "By all that's holy," Takashi breathed. A new voice came over the comm, older and authoritative. "Commander Reyes, I am Admiral Marcus Donovan of the Earth Reclamation Fleet. We've been waiting 300 years for that crystal." The Hyperion was guided into the massive hangar. As Elena and her crew disembarked, they were met by Admiral Donovan, a tall, distinguished man with silver hair and eyes that had seen centuries pass thanks to life extension technology. "How is this possible?" Elena asked, gesturing to the fleet around them. "We thought Earth's forces were decimated in the purge." "Not decimated," Donovan corrected. "Scattered. Hidden. When the Concordat began their campaign to erase humanity from history, our ancestors knew we couldn't win through conventional warfare. So they implemented the Lazarus Protocol. Go into hiding, build our strength, and wait for the right moment to return." "And the crystal?" Layla asked, holding the glowing blue object. "The final piece," Donovan said with a smile. "It contains not just our history, but the command codes to activate every dormant human technology throughout the galaxy. Systems, weapons, and networks the Concordat never found because they didn't know where to look." Elena felt a weight lifting from her shoulders, the weight of believing she was fighting for a lost cause. "How many of us are there?" "Billions, spread across hidden colonies in uncharted space," Donovan replied. "And now, thanks to you, we can finally begin the reclamation." He led them to a command center deep within the moonbase. There, a massive holographic display showed the current state of the galaxy and highlighted thousands of points where dormant human technology lay waiting. "The Concordat erased us because they feared us," Donovan explained. "Humans were advancing too quickly, adapting and innovating at a pace that threatened the established order. When we developed quantum entanglement drive technology, they decided we had to be stopped." "And now?" Elena asked. Donovan's expression hardened. "Now we show them why they were right to fear us." Across the room, officers began activating long-dormant systems. Throughout the galaxy, hidden human technology started coming online. Surveillance networks, defense systems, and communication relays that had lain dormant for centuries suddenly activated, giving the human resistance unprecedented intelligence and strategic advantage. "The Concordat will detect this activity," Takashi warned. "We're counting on it," Donovan replied with a grim smile. "The reclamation fleet launches in 6 hours. Commander Reyes, given your experience fighting the Concordat, I'd like you to lead the vanguard." Elena looked around at the assembled officers, humans who had kept the flame of their civilization burning in secret for generations. Then she thought of all those who had died believing they were the last of their kind. "It would be my honor, Admiral," she said. As preparations for the fleet's departure accelerated, Elena stood before a viewport, gazing at the armada that would soon break its long silence. For 3 centuries, the galaxy had forgotten humanity existed. Soon, they would remember why that had been a mistake. Reclamation. The reclamation fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system, humanity's first colony beyond Sol, and now a crown jewel of the Galactic Concordat. 200 warships, led by Elena's flagship, the Retribution, dropped their stealth fields simultaneously. On the bridge, Elena stood before the tactical display, watching as Concordat sensor stations detected their presence. Alarms would be sounding across the system. "All ships, maintain formation," she ordered. "Weapons hot but hold fire until my command." Takashi, now serving as her XO on the Retribution, monitored the Concordat response. "They're scrambling defense forces. Looks like they had no idea we were coming." "Priority message from Proxima Control," announced the communications officer. Elena nodded. "Put it through." A holographic image appeared, a Volus dignitary, their 4 eyes blinking rapidly in alarm. "Unidentified fleet, you have entered Concordat sovereign space. Identify yourselves immediately or be destroyed." Elena stepped forward. "This is Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth Reclamation Fleet. Perhaps you don't recognize us. Your leaders have worked very hard to erase us from memory." The Volus recoiled. "Humans? Impossible. Your kind was dealt with centuries ago." "Not dealt with," Elena corrected. "Just forgotten. But we remember everything." She turned to her tactical officer. "Target their primary communication relay. Surgical strike. Minimal casualties." Before the Volus could respond, a precision beam from the Retribution struck the massive communication array orbiting Proxima Centauri. The structure didn't explode. Instead, its systems were hijacked by specialized human tech. "What have you done?" the Volus demanded. "We're sending a message," Elena replied, "to every system in the Concordat simultaneously." Across thousands of worlds, communication systems were suddenly overridden. Citizens of countless species looked up at public broadcasts to see historical records of humanity, their achievements, their worlds, their destruction at Concordat hands. The truth that had been hidden for centuries was finally revealed. "You can't do this," the Volus sputtered. "The Council will." "The Council will do nothing," came Admiral Donovan's voice as he joined the communication. "Your fleets are currently occupied with emergencies across 17 key systems. Emergencies we orchestrated. Humanity has returned, and we will reclaim our place in the galaxy." The Volus transmission cut off as Concordat warships began to mobilize. "They're deploying from the orbital platforms," Takashi reported. 27 vessels, mostly light cruisers. Elena studied their formation. "They don't know what they're facing. They're following standard Concordat engagement protocols." She opened a fleet-wide channel. "All ships, execute Pattern Delta. Disable their engines and weapons systems, but minimize casualties. We're not here for vengeance. We're here to be remembered." The human fleet moved with practiced precision, technology 3 centuries advanced of what the Concordat expected. Targeted EMP bursts disabled Concordat vessels without destroying them. Precision strikes knocked out defense platforms while leaving civilian structures untouched. Within 30 minutes, Proxima Centauri, a fortress system that had never fallen in Concordat history, was under human control. Elena ordered her ground forces to secure the Proxima Archive, the second largest historical repository in Concordat space. There, they would ensure the true records of human history could never be erased again. As the situation stabilized, a priority alert sounded on the bridge. "Commander," Takashi called, "we're detecting a massive hyperspace signature approaching. It's the Concordat's 7th Fleet, led by the Indomitable." Elena's expression darkened. The Indomitable was the flagship of Supreme Commander Thelos Vex, the architect of humanity's erasure from history. Of course he would come personally. "How long until they arrive?" she asked. 20 minutes, Takashi replied. Elena opened a channel to Admiral Donovan. "Admiral, Vex is coming." Donovan's face was grim. This was inevitable. He can't allow the truth to spread. "You know what he's capable of." Indeed she did. Elena had lost her parents to Vex's purge when she was just a child. The Supreme Commander was ruthless, willing to sacrifice millions to maintain the Concordat's version of history. "I'll handle Vex," Elena said. "But there's something else you should know." The data crystal contained information about why they feared us so much. "The quantum entanglement drive," Donovan replied. "Not just that. According to the records, human consciousness has a unique property. We can form mental links with our technology that no other species can replicate. The quantum drives were just the beginning. They feared what we would become." Donovan was silent for a moment. "Then perhaps it's time to show them." The Indomitable arrived with 50 capital ships, the elite of the Concordat fleet. They emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, weapons already charging. On her view screen, Elena saw Supreme Commander Vex for the first time. A tall, gaunt figure with pale blue skin and cybernetic enhancements covering half his face. The last living architect of humanity's erasure. "Human vessels." Vex's voice was cold, mechanical. "Your species was removed from galactic memory for the greater good. Your return threatens the stability of the Concordat. Surrender now, and your deaths will be merciful." Elena stepped forward. "Supreme Commander Vex, we've studied you. For generations, our people have learned everything about the man who tried to erase us. But you know nothing about us anymore. You forgot what makes humans dangerous." Vex's expression didn't change. "You were dangerous because you were unpredictable, chaotic. Your technological advancement threatened the natural order." "No," Elena replied. "We were dangerous because we adapt. We survive, and we never forget." She turned to her crew. "Activate the Lazarus network." Across human-controlled space, hidden quantum transmitters activated. The technology that had so frightened the Concordat 3 centuries ago had not remained static. It had evolved, waiting for this moment. Elena felt the neural interface at the base of her skull warm as it connected to the network. Around her, the crew of the Retribution experienced the same sensation. Human minds linked across vast distances, sharing information, coordinating with perfect efficiency no AI could match. The human fleet moved as one organism, their tactics shifting faster than Concordat systems could analyze. Ships appeared to anticipate attacks before they came, moving in perfect harmony. On the Indomitable, Vex realized too late what was happening. "Target their command ship," he ordered. "Full barrage." The Concordat fleet fired, but the human vessels were already moving, their defenses precisely where they needed to be. Return fire disabled Concordat systems with surgical precision. "You spent centuries trying to make the galaxy forget us," Elena said, her voice now echoed by thousands of connected humans across the fleet. "But in doing so, you forgot yourself. You forgot why you feared us in the first place." The Retribution moved directly toward the Indomitable, evading its defensive fire with impossible precision. Specialized boarding craft launched from its hull, latching onto the Concordat flagship. Elena led the boarding party herself, moving through the Indomitable's corridors with her mind, still connected to the Lazarus network. She could sense every Concordat soldier, predict their movements, coordinate with her team without speaking. They reached the bridge in minutes. Supreme Commander Vex stood waiting, surrounded by elite guards. "You cannot change what has happened," Vex said coldly. 300 years of history cannot be undone. "We're not here to change history," Alina replied, her neural weapon aimed at his chest. "We're here to correct it." The guards fired, but Alina's team moved with preternatural coordination, disabling them without killing a single one. Vex himself drew a ceremonial blade, lunging at Alina with surprising speed. She caught his wrist, the neural interface enhancing her strength and reflexes. "The records show you were there when the decision was made. You convinced the Council that humanity had to be erased completely, not just defeated, but forgotten. Because I saw what you would become," Vex hissed. "The human mind connected to machines. It would have been the end of biological supremacy. We would all have become your tools." Alina forced him to his knees. "That was never our intention. Connection isn't the same as control, something you never understood." Throughout the Concordat, the truth continued to spread. The carefully constructed lie that had maintained their order for centuries was unraveling. Species that had never heard of humans were learning of their existence and of their own leader's deception. Admiral Donovan's voice came through Alina's neural link. "The Concordat Council is requesting to negotiate. Their military forces are standing down across 17 systems." Alina looked down at Vex. "Your era is over, Commander. Humanity will not seek vengeance for what was done to us, but we will never be forgotten again." In the days that followed, representatives from across the galaxy came to witness the truth. The human colonies that had remained hidden emerged into the light. The Concordat, its foundation of lies exposed, began to fracture as member species demanded reform. On what had once been the Concordat capital world of Illumina, Alina stood before the newly formed Galactic Assembly. Representatives of 1,000 species had gathered to witness the formal recognition of humanity's return. 3 centuries ago, those in power decided that some truths were too dangerous to be remembered. She addressed the assembly. "They feared what humanity might become, so they tried to erase us from history. But today proves what we have always known. No civilization can truly progress by burying its past." The resolution passed unanimously. Earth and all human colony worlds were officially recognized. The historical archives were restored with the true records of human achievement and the Concordat's betrayal. As Alina left the assembly chamber, Admiral Donovan waited. "What now, Commander?" he asked. Alina looked out at the glittering capital city, where humans walked openly for the first time in centuries. "Now we build, not in secret, not in fear. We show the galaxy what humanity can truly become when we're not fighting to be remembered." Far beyond the former Concordat borders, the first new human colony ships were already departing. Not warships this time, but vessels of exploration and discovery. Earth had reclaimed its place in the stars. And this time, no one would forget. The galaxy had tried to erase Earth from its records. But humanity's Armada had returned with a message that would echo across the cosmos. "We will not be forgotten."